So I was gonna do a tarot reading, and then Queso decided to get on the blanket that I set out in the perfect spot for me to film. So if you're in a mood and you're feeling kind of down when you're seeing this, this is a timeless reading. I get the vibe that this will be found later on. So here's a cat. I get the vibe that you're probably going through right now emotionally. Very intense energy. Which is interesting because for me, I just got done filming a reading that kind of gave lovey-dovey vibes. So to have the energy switch for a different reading is a very interesting experience. That's my air purifier going off, don't mind that. But let's get started. I'm gonna pull like as I go for this one. For the past two, I've pulled like beforehand, but I get the vibe that you're gonna want to see this one. Also, because I'm in my bedroom, if you hear any cat toys going off, that's just my cat playing around. Please don't mind those. Hopefully that brings you a little bit of joy. Right now he's just staring at the air purifier though, so I don't think we're gonna have too many issues. But alright, let's do this. I also have the window open, so you may hear a car go by. As I say that, a car goes by. But yeah. Hope you're doing well. Hope your day's going good. What is this? Ooh, okay. Yeah. So, immediately getting the Tower card, but in reverse. So for me, this is a card when it's reverse of like dodging a bullet in a way, kind of like avoiding a collapse. One could also see this card as like avoiding a Tower moment that needed to happen. I'm getting if you've seen Into the Spider-Verse, which ironically enough I haven't, so if I'm misquoting this I apologize, but I'm pretty sure there's a thing in the Spider-Verse where it's like a canon event, right? Something's supposed to happen away. And so, for me, this card can be taken in reverse as two ways. Either A, it's avoiding a conflict that could have happened, avoiding disaster, or it's B, purposely avoiding a disaster, ignoring it, something that needed to collapse that you're not letting. In Queso's back, so hopefully this card isn't too scary for you. Okay, so can you not make biscuits right now, buddy? Go do it with that blanket. Like, bro, please, come on. So, oh, interesting that I put it up right. Here you go. Yeah, I figured. So, we've got the Tower in reverse. Let's get some more on this. Whoa. Okay. I got these cards, and I'm just gonna take this last one that's on top. Yeah, okay. We've also got the Six of Cups in reverse too, with my cat in the corner. So, and then on the bottom of the deck, we've got Nine of Wands, so fear. I'm getting the vibe that it is more of the... So the Six of Cups in general is about like healing inner child, living within the inner child idea of how a kid can be scared of falling down, but they're still gonna go climb the monkey bars, right? So it's like you're aware of that. It's like you're not ignorant to bad shit happening, but you're still living life, right? Sorry, my cat's blocking the cards. But in this case, because it's in reverse, it's kind of like you're scared of either letting go of the past or you're living within a childhood wound that you need to let go of, but you're scared, which if I'm getting the vibe that I got earlier, where it's like you're seeing this when you're kind of going through it, like the mindset's not exactly top tier right now, which is okay. Life happens. You're supposed to have moments like this, you know? Not necessarily exactly what you're going through, but moments of Nine of Wands, moments like this to learn, right? If you're wondering, Queso went to the other blanket. So he's still here. He's just loafing on a blanket that is a little bit more messy. Kind of like you, right? 2 blankets. You can't see the other one because, frankly, I don't want to move the camera. But he's on the one blanket that's literally right off camera, right there. And it's a little more messier of a blanket. But it's comfy as fuck for him. The messiness makes it comfortable because it's like layers of the blanket. You could totally take that as part of this reading. Of like, you, because of your fear, cannot see the other options. Possibly because the other options look messier, hence the fear, like scared of the messiness. But it's comfortable as fuck. You just can't see that because of the angle, right? So maybe there's, you know... Oh, okay. I pulled cards and they fell on the ground. So I'm just going to take one of them. Actually, I'm getting the vibe to take none of them and just the bottom of the deck energy, which is Emperor. This card, I believe, is an Aries. So if you're into astrology, Aries is like... Everybody says aggression. That's not exactly it. I see it as more as like raw passion, but I digress. The Emperor is all about structure, about like having control over your life, being able to make what you want to happen. That is also kind of the Magician card, but I see the Emperor as more as routines, whereas the Magician is more like rituals, if that makes sense. Like... This is a bad example but it's Halloween time when I'm filming this, so I'm just gonna roll with it. But kind of like in American Psycho, the car's rolling by, so hopefully you can still hear me. But kind of like in American Psycho, homie has an incredible skincare routine. Insane, literally insane, because it's American Psycho, but still, like, having those routines, that's what I mean by Emperor, right? Don't take the homicidal urges as part of it, obviously. It's Halloween time when I'm filming this, like I said. So, I'm getting the vibe that if you're able to get over this fear, one of those ways that might help is by doing it through a structured format, which would kind of make sense, right? As adults, we try to manage things. And so, trying to manage childhood wounds when they're not healed can be frankly complicated, and it's like living in that teenager mindset. There's a lot of cards here. I've been getting that a lot, where it's like a bunch of cards and I end up just taking the top one on the deck. So we're gonna take the top one on the deck, which is 8 of Cups. So I get the vibe that if you wanted to get through, I'm getting also the vibe that that's supposed to be there. If you want to get through this fear, which this fear seems like an inner child fear that you got because of a, once again, inner child wound that you need to let go, but you're struggling to let go of it, I would recommend going at your emotions. I don't want to say at, because it sounds like I'm saying like attack your emotions. Don't. Oh my God, don't do that. Your emotions have been through enough. They don't need to be attacked, right? But going at it through structure. Going into shadow work through a routine, so that way you can pace yourself. It's funny that we get, not really funny, but interesting. So I'm going to show you a journal that I got. I'm not going to show you inside of it, but I'll show you the cover. But this is a journal that I got. I think something like this might be beneficial for you. A shadow growth journal. You don't have to do like the witchy version of it, but the whole idea is, like it says on the cover, embracing and elevating beyond your shadows, right? This whole book and the idea of it is talking to yourself in a way that you can reflect on, hence writing, about stuff that might be uncomfortable. So emotions, inner child wounds, mother, father wounds, if you were bullied as a kid, like literally anything. Being able to go through your shadows, especially inner child wounds. It's not something that you rush, but it's also not something that you just sit on and wait to fix it, figure out later. If you're coming into adulthood, or like you are already an adult and you've just kind of been living in that like I'm 18 mindset, whatever have you. A white car passed by, if that means anything for you. Earlier a black one did. So yin yang energy. The idea that you can balance the idea that you can balance treating your inner child with respect and delicacy, while also still treating the adult you with the getting what you want to get done. Hence Emperor. In this case, it seems like you want to get over the idea of something. I'm gonna pull on what? But this inner child wound in particular, right? And I think that you could, if you go in a very paced, to your own liking way. A bunch of cards just fell out, but two in particular came out upright, as in I can see them upright. So I'm gonna take those. We got the Hermit and Judgment. So hopefully you can see those. So this is giving the vibe that you may have also seen my first reading that I did, which was 2 back from now, because it's my 3rd one as I'm filming this. Possibly. Doesn't have to, but it makes sense if you were, because 2 of those cards came up also for that one. If you have, I would not be surprised also if this is like you've had progress on this. But yeah, literally, like, you need to go inward in a structured way. We've got the Hermit and the Emperor like across from each other in the spread, right? If we look at the 6 of Cups in reverse and the Tower as the bottom 2, and the top 2 is the 8 of Cups and the Judgment card, then in the middle you've got in between the fear, how to handle said fear, treat it, you know. I say handle like you're handling like a glass sphere, you know. It's not going to shatter if you just hold it. It's fine to hold it. You just have to hold it with a little bit of consciousness, you know, being aware that this is a fragile thing. Fragile isn't bad. Fragile is delicate, yes, but not necessarily bad. Just needs to be held with a little bit more TLC, tender love and care. Not the show or the broadcast, whatever. So honestly, I feel like if you're going through something with your inner child right now, I saw 1333 on the timer, so if that means anything to you. It could have also been 1343 because I wasn't looking too hard. I also don't have my glasses on right now. But my main thing for you, I'm going to pull more cards, but until we get to that, is going through inner child fears. You need to pace yourself, but with steady progress, you can totally make this happen. Whatever this is supposed to be, something that you want, but it's like holding you back because you're holding on to an inner childhood fear and that's stopping you. Yeah. Next, we're going to pull some Earthly Souls and Spirits Moon Oracle deck cards. Once again, I mentioned this in all my videos, but if you'd like any of the decks, they're in the description, so that way you may find them on your own. I'm going to pull some cards for you. Oh, also interesting. Earlier I mentioned that a bunch of cards fell out when I got the Judgment and the Hermit, and 3 other ones also fell out, but I forgot to put them away. So We're actually not gonna pull cards from the Earthly Soul's Moon yet. We gotta talk about these. And there's even a hidden one. Ooh, okay. I'm gonna flip this one. Interesting, sideways, okay. I'm gonna pull that back so y'all can see, but. Okay, I adjust the camera so hopefully y'all can still see, get a better view. But the 3/4, because we had a mystery one that was hidden, cards that I accidentally left on the ground were Hierophant, 8 of Pentacles, and Knight of Wands. And then the hidden one was Hanged Man, so that came out sideways because I wanted to flip that one. But the other 3 felt very upright. This might be TMI, but I hope you don't mind, but I've had to burp this entire reading and I just now finally got it out, so I'm getting the vibe that you are very much making progress on this, but you've been kind of in your head about this, like wanting to make this happen, but a kid with a skateboard just came by. You're gonna be, like, the skateboard gives me the vibe of, like, cool but in an inner child way. Like, I'm seeing like a kid with like cool hair and like riding a skateboard and listening to punk music as a kid. You're like, whoa, that kid's so cool. That kind of a vibe. I'm gonna say that you're making progress on this. 8 of Pentacles, literally, like, that card is like perfection. Like, material, the work that you've put in is like perfection. You're seeing the rewards from your work, right? Knight of Wands is the fastest action card in the deck, besides the literal Judgment card, which you've already gotten, right? You're making efforts on this, you're making progress, and your progress will lead to a level up. You just have to, and we got that Hanged Man energy. So Hanged Man feels like the qualifier on this, of like, you are making progress on this. You may have already gotten a shadow work journal and you've been working on this. You're just uncomfortable in the waiting. Waiting for what? We're gonna find out with the Moon Oracle deck. For me, Hanged Man, when it's upright, is like finding peace within the quote-unquote waiting period. Very much like being at one with the good and the bad of life. Upright, I would say that you still got more progress on this to be made. Reversed, it's like the wait is over, you are free. But this is sideways. So 4 cards came out, and this is very interesting. Yeah, I would not be surprised if you watched the first reading that I did, because one of these cards in particular did not come out, but I wanted it to, and then it came out later on when I wasn't filming. So, would not be shocked. So let me fix the camera so that way you can see, and then we'll get back to it. So we've got Positivity, Luminous, Evolve, and Divinity up in the up right hand corner. The Divinity card, if you're not religious, can be taken as like being with one with yourself. Very much my body is a temple kind of a vibe, treating your environment and your psyche and your body with the respect that you would of a god. We are also seeing a lot of blue in the cards that you pulled. So blue is throat chakra. It's about speaking your truth with all the emotions here. It could be like speaking to the emotional truth within yourself, speaking to yourself about your emotional truth, more like, but in a positive light. We got that Positivity card at the bottom right hand corner, treating it with the positive reinforcement. And that's why I say if you watch my first reading, that would make sense. Because with the Positivity card, it's wanting to see all of yourself with the Divinity card, but in a positive reinforced way, not in a negative reinforced. If you have 20 minutes on the timer, for anybody who's interested, which 20 is the number of judgment. So once again, action. Treating your emotional and mental balancing with positive. Giving yourself props for the progress that you make instead of giving shit for the progress that you haven't quote unquote made yet. that kind of mentality. And that goes even more into, that could be the inner childhood wound that you're trying to like get through and that you have made progress on. Maybe you watched the first video I made and you did some work and now you're like, whoa, I got this. That'd be cool. I don't know, but it'd be cool. Because we've got the Luminous and the Evolve card. And the Evolve is monarch butterflies. I saw a bunch whenever I went to do that first reading. And butterflies for me are movement. Also, they're heavily associated with the like Latinx culture in America, being like migration. So very much historical context and cultural context there. I also, just beautiful. They're rare. That orange to me is giving like sacral chakra. So very like creativity. That could also be solar plexus. This one feels more, because of the luminous, we've got more of those like lower chakra colors. So I'm going to go towards that area. Also, it's interesting that the only yellow you pulled in the entire thing was that Eight of Pentacles. And right now, as I'm looking at my deck, the bottom of the deck card is Ace of Pentacles. For those interested. Stars could mean something to you. A lot of the decks that I use are moon and star based. If I'm on the right track for you, that the inner child wound that you've been working on is not being so hard on yourself for not being perfect at specifically balancing emotions with your material, with your physical, I want you to know that you have gotten major progress on this. Because the Evolve card does not come out. Like, I barely ever have that card come out. So it's a rare little treat when it does. Especially with the Luminous card, about like shining bright, being authentically you, very much like a walking beacon of hope kind of a vibe. If you're able to treat yourself with more kindness, the strength to be kind to yourself regardless of whatever inner critic may be speaking shit to you, I think that you will see your own progress from an outside perspective. And earlier I mentioned that we had the white and black car, so yin yang. A grayish car just came by. So literally melding the yin and yang together to get a platinum, right? I'm gonna say that you've put in a lot of work in this. And there's still work to be had, because you don't have any 10s here, so, but you've still got 2 8s. And 8 is the number of abundance, you know. It's, well, like I said, it's seeing the rewards of your work. And you've got both emotional 8 and material 8. So it's like you've put in the work to being nice to yourself about your emotional well-being, and the parts of it that might not be fun to look at, you have. I want you to continue doing that in a way that is positively reinforced, not negatively. And I think that that will be very beneficial to you. So we're going to end it with an All of You is Magic card. All the decks mentioned or used will be in the description. You could be a singer. If you know my channel, you know I like to sing. Ah, shit. Okay. Well, a bunch of cards flew out, but only one of them is upright. Oh, it's this one. This one comes out all the time for me. Okay, here we go. So first, I'm gonna let you look at just the imagery. And I want you to sit on this imagery and really take it in. How does it make you feel? I don't know if you can hear that, but an airplane is passing by, 2525 on the timer. Airplanes to me are movement. It's like the idea of doing the impossible, but with ease. Also, I just saw a kid running by and he had a gray shirt on, so that idea of like this balancing will create great movement in your life with that Knight of Wands, the level up with the Hierophant. If it means anything to you, a black Countryman Cooper card just passed by. Let's talk about this card. If I can get focus. Hello? Okay, we're gonna have to do like this. You are welcome, worthy, and loved exactly as you are. Every part of your journey is sacred. And I'm gonna read that one more time. And I want you to close your eyes and sit with what feelings arise when you hear this from an external voice. I'm speaking to you right now. You are welcome, worthy, and loved exactly as you are. Every part of your journey is sacred. And finally, finally, I hit my camera. We're gonna end it with the ritual, and I wanna leave you with this. If you choose to shadow work journal, maybe use this as a journaling prompt. Some of these do come off as journaling prompt vibes. If I can get my camera focus. Maybe. Here we go. Okay. Think of one thing you appreciate about yourself. Write it down or visualize it. Carry it with you throughout the day. And I'm going to go as so far as to say, maybe think of more than one thing. And if you choose to do more than one thing, make some of them physical, but not all of them. Since you're working on balancing that inner child wound of feeling like you need to be perfect, doing it on things about yourself or your abilities, about the things that you can create within your environment, and not just like, I have pretty hair, will help meld this for in your emotional and your physical, which creates that yin-yang balance, right? So I'm gonna leave it there. Please check out my linktree in the YouTube description and YouTube bio to help donate money to Palestine, Sudan, Congo, Yemen, and Haiti. If you can donate, you should. Because why? Because it helps put money where money can help people live better lives. And why would you not want to do that? Also, if you are immigrant, particularly in the USA, I hope you're having a fan-fucking-tastic day. And I hope that you journal something today and it helps you. I hope that you get the chance to breathe with yourself. Yeah. All right. Peace out. Bye.